Okay, this is the first in a series of videos about using formulae within Aster Power Project. Formulae are used in the spreadsheet to display certain calculated information that isn't available through normal spreadsheet tokens, such as what is the VAT element of a cost, or what is the difference between the start date of a particular task on the line and the finish date of another task on the line. So things that we can't use standard tokens for, we can create formula for, and these can show dates, costs, or priority indicators dependent on certain functionality. Now, formulae are quite a difficult concept to get hold of, and do involve later on a reasonable grasp of mathematics and algebra, shall we say. But if we go through the series of videos step by step over the following months, you'll have a really good idea about how to set formulas up. So in this first example, we're going to do something extremely basic, which is to put another name column in the field using a formula. So the way that I like to do formulas is to go into the Library Explorer and first of all create a category into which to put my formula. So I'm going into formula category, and I'm going to call this category training, and this is just used for grouping my formula together, as you'll see later on. So I now have training. So I'm going to click over on the formula section over here now, and you can see there are a number of formula already created for you, and in a further lesson we will have a look at these, so you can see if you can use them. But I'm going to create a very simple example to start with. So I'm going to click under here to create a new one, and I'm going to call this a fixed name column. So all I'm actually going to do here is to replicate the name of the activity in a column. And one reason we might do this is because formula columns are uneditable. They are calculated and will update themselves automatically, but they can't be edited themselves. So this could be useful if we were sending our project out to a user and we only wanted them to edit perhaps the percent complete, but not the name or the start date or the end date. And it's also a vehicle where we can show the simplest use of a column. So I have my column, and if I go right click and properties, I now go into the details of the formula. So what I want to do is to put this inside of my training category, and I could put a description here: provides a fixed name column, but it's not necessary to do that. Now the formula that I write goes inside of here, and one of the useful things we provide is that if I put the formula in correctly, you can see down here it tells me it's okay. If I put the formula in incorrectly in any other way, it tells me with help what's wrong. So you're always looking for OK. Now you can see here that I've typed in name. Now the reason I've typed in name is because I know, I've used it before, that the name column will tell me the name of the task, or the start will tell me the start date of the task, or the cost will tell me the cost of the task. Well, how do I know this? I go into field. If I click on the field helper button here, you can see this gives me the same dialog as I get from table definition. So if I was to go identification and name, that will pull up for me another box, which we'll discuss at another time. But basically it allows me to select, do I want the name of the default object, i.e. the line, whatever line this is in the spreadsheet, or perhaps a resource allocation, or the task, or the bar, or the name of the summary that it belongs to. But as I say, we'll deal with that in a future lesson. So I'm just going to click OK at this point, and you can see that that's written name in for me, so I could have done that myself, and it's given me the OK. Now over the future months we'll be looking at these buttons in more depth, but they are helper buttons and they save me typing things in until I know how to use them. So for example, if I wanted a plus sign, I could click on the plus sign. If I wanted to use a variable date such as today, so maybe I wanted to work out the difference between today and the start date, which we'll do in a moment, we could use that. Function, we'll look at these in more depth as we go through, but they allow me to do conditional formulas, working with currencies and dates, but as I say, we'll deal with those at a later date. So having typed in name, having typed in OK, I'm going to click on OK, and that's given me my formula. So back out onto the bar chart now. If I right mouse click on the start column and go for add new column, formulae, and let's actually go table definition. So we'll go to table definition and we'll add a column in, formulae, training, fixed name column. Okay, so exactly as you would add a normal column in, now that I've created my formulae, I have fixed name column. I'm going to click on close to apply it. And you can see over here I have a complete copy of the name column, and I can't change that. But if I was to change the actual name of the task, call this training task, the formula automatically updates. So that's how formulas work. Obviously this is an extremely simple example because we haven't done any mathematics on it, but it shows you how to create the basics of a formula. So we're just going to create another one here that shows us the difference between maybe today and the start of the task. So we've got an idea about how many days or weeks we have until the task starts, which is quite a good warning system. So we'll go into here, we'll create a new formula, so we'll call this period till task starts. We'll put it inside of training, shows how long till the task starts. And from here what I want to do is to take away today's date from the start date of the task. So the first thing I'm going to do is to find the start of the task. So that's, as you would remember, clicking on the field, helper button, date and start. I'm going to click on OK here. So I've now got start written in there. I'm going to put a space in, which is a good idea, and I want to take away from that today's date. So I could either go and click on the minus button there, or I could just press minus on the keyboard. Now, one of the benefits of Asta, as you know, is using variable dates, because what I don't want to have to do is to change the start date every time. So here I could select off the symbol my variable date of today. So whatever today's date is, as we move through the project, that will change and give me a different period. So my formula simply is start minus today. So we've started to bring in some mathematics, if you like, and I think if you think of formulas as you would Excel formulas, they're very similar, except you're using the wording or that Asta uses rather than Excel uses. So we'll click on OK there. We'll go back to the bar chart, and this column here we will change in table definition. We will change that to training period till task starts. Obviously I can change the column title if I want, but we'll leave it as it is. And you can now see that it's showing me how many days from today's date, which when I'm doing today it's the 5th of March, and that's showing me there's 4 days until this task due to start on the 9th of March. But if this task was to change, if I was to move the task, you can see that that's changed to 9 days. This one here, because it should have started, is minus 10 days. If this was to go into the future, it changes. However, and what we'll explore in future lessons is maybe to say if this is a minus, i.e. we should have started it, put a red flag there. If there's less than a week till we start it, maybe put an amber flag, and if there's a long time till we start it, put a green flag. But they're the sort of conditional and more advanced formulas that we'll deal with in future periods. So I hope this first session has given you a basic introduction as to how to create a formula.